that was fuel for me to say, there's more to life. So what can I do? And yes, it takes time to find yourself, but the more you accept things you can't change and accept things you can change, and you can only change you. You can't change your surrounding or other people, but you can change you. So start with you. When you do that, magic happens.
Like you love yourself. Loving yourself is, I feel like it is a selfishness, because when I know myself, I know my worth, know my value, I can resonate with other people's value as well. What is your community right now and how you build it?
I've learned one thing very important is that identity is not fixed.
Welcome to my podcast, My Migrant Soul. This is Imran Abul Kashem, serial entrepreneur, former journalist, and personal branding expert. I have my migrant background. I have lots of story to tell. I know every migrant, they have a story of struggle, a story of resilience, a story of a success. When I talk to my migrant friend, they share me lots of good thing, lots of things I learned from them. So that's why I started this podcast, and I interview some successful migrant who came to a new land and established themselves in here. Today I have a very special guest with me. Her name is Kabinga Mazaba. She is an award-winning author. She's an entrepreneur, and she is a mental health expert. She also coaches other women to be empowered as well. And last couple of years, I follow her, and I get inspired how she come, what she share, and I also read her book, and she will talk more about that. But let me introduce her. Welcome to my podcast.
Thank you so much, Imran. Pleasure. Lovely always. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Tell me about yourself, like what people are, who you are, where you're from, and what you're doing.
I'm Kabinga Mazaba, international speaker, keynote speaker, best-selling author, award-winning author, mental health expert with a background in counseling. So I help individuals, I empower individuals to discover themselves again, to fall in love with themselves. And apart from that, I'm a mom. I'm just a regular woman who just love empowering others and inspiring others. Yeah.
You're not a wife as well?
I am a wife. I shouldn't have forgotten that. I am a wife to a wonderful husband.
Yeah, your wonderful husband is a friend of mine.
Exactly.
So, but tell me about your childhood.
My childhood. Yeah, I was born in Zambia, which is part of Southern Africa. I'm the only child. So I grew up in a loving home, my mom, my dad, surrounded by cousins and different experiences as a childhood. So I grew up there. And yeah, I've been through quite a lot, but as a journey of a migrant, I'm still here. There's so much resilience in there.
Tell me more about your childhood. How is like what is the childhood like? You have a kids now. You're telling you are a proud mom. Compared to your childhood back to Zambia.
Oh, my childhood was different. Of course, we grew up without internet or anything, so the play was always outside in the dirt and stuff. But my childhood had its own moments. There was times of where resilience was built in a different way. Of course, we grew up, if you do something, we grew up in a house where if you do something, you get smacked. Nowadays, that's child abuse. We can't do that to our kids. So I've raised my kids in a different way, the way I was raised. So coming from a home that I didn't experience much love or that connection much with my mom. So I've raised my kids very different in the sense that I've taught them to express themselves. I've taught them to be confident. I validate them. I've taught them to love who they are and respect people around them. And the number one lesson I've learned throughout my childhood is respect. and how you communicate, because that sets you apart and it gives you a lot of connections and a lot of respect back. Yeah.
One of the childhood things that I feel like when I was in child, I know everyone in our state. I
Yes.
know everyone in our community, and they know us. And I feel like in my kids, I think the house next, like after my closest house, they don't know who is my kids, or we
No.
don't know them. Do
No.
you find that thing like this child is growing in a different environment, and that the life like before, some of my childhood memory is like we go out in the morning, come back in the evening. Parents doesn't know where we are, but they can trace out like where
Yes.
we find out. But now if I'm a parent, I become anxious, where is my child right now? I
Yes.
need to know the location, or I need to know what they are doing. Do you feel that that thing as well?
Oh, yes. It's totally different because the childhood I grew up,
Yeah.
I could be 20 minutes or 30 minutes away playing, you know, I'll miss out lunch and stuff. But my kids here, it's totally different. They don't know the neighbors. It's just the kids, and they don't build that strong connection within. And the resilience is also different because you don't know your neighbors. You just say, oh, hi, hello. That's it. Sometimes you don't even, I think I've lived in here for like 7 years and rarely have spoken to my neighbors. Back home, if you get sick, your neighbor knows that you're not okay. They'll come and check up on you. They'll cook meals for you. But here it's different. You have to learn to rely on your family members only within the household. Outside, it's quite challenging. So I kind of feel sorry for the kids, but at the same time, they're growing up in a different environment where they're exposed to more technology, learnings, and stuff. It's become bad. They need to have a balance. So we try to find a balance. Yeah.
When did you move from Zambia to Australia, or what is your migrant journey? Tell me about that.
My immigration journey began in 2002, right after I got married. I moved away from my country, joining my husband in South Africa. And that was the first time I moved out of my country to start a life, something different, away from my familiar environment, my connections, my family. So that journey taught me resilience in a different way. And moving from South Africa, we went to Scotland, Edinburgh. So that was another journey. Now you can imagine the change in climate, the culture, and now you had to learn a different way of being resilient, and also I learned to adapt in a different sense because now I'm away totally from an African culture. Now I'm moving into I don't know anybody, and from that time we moved to Australia. That was 2017. We came to Australia and we were in Queensland, Mackay. Now that was a totally challenge. Getting used to Scottish life and the environment. Now Mackay brought in its challenges. Now I have no community. I've lost that. I have no friends. How am I going to start? So it was then I started now finding the right community through my kids because my daughter now was ready to start school. So you're meeting new moms, they're showing you, oh, you can come to this. So you're learning connections and new communities. So I learned that. And from there, we moved to Darwin in the Northern Territory. And it was then in Northern Territory now I started finding my grounding, my purpose, changing and rebuilding into that. And finally, Melbourne. So Melbourne has become my home now. And in Melbourne, I've learned my purpose. And just moving into these four countries, I've learned being resilient, being flexible, being to adopt. Of course, there were times I didn't feel like I didn't belong, but finding the right community actually gave me a sense of purpose. So, yeah,
So, where is your home?
my home is here now because for me, I look at home as it's not just a location, it's the people now whom you've connected with. So, home is, to me, is peace. I found peace. I found a community that is accepting. I found a community that can allow me to voice myself. So, and in that sense, the community and within myself, I found peace and comfort. So that's my home.
You have traveled lots of different countries, even like you mentioned three countries, and I think the three countries you learn something, you find challenging something, and you get experience something. Could you please share me that?
Moving to new cultures, of course, brings a deep sense of loss because you're leaving your familiar comfort zones. Now you're venturing into the unknown. You don't know anybody, so you don't know what to expect. You don't know the system. So that was the biggest challenge for me is navigating how people are going to accept me and perceive because coming from Zambia to South Africa, it's a different culture, different language. Going to Scotland, so you kind of face in between discrimination, a little bit of racism, but you learn to navigate that. That's the resilience that is built. And the challenges was also finding work as a migrant. Like, oh, okay, I'm coming with a different qualifications. My qualifications are not accepted. So you learn now to reinvent yourself. Like, how do I adopt? So, and the opportunities have come in different packages. But first, I had to learn to accept things and say, okay, what can I change? I can't change going back or whatever, but I can change moving forward and redefining myself. I was open to learning, being curious.
Yeah.
That is one thing I appreciate. I was like, okay, I have to learn, navigate. How does the system work? How do I get work? I did a lot of different work before I landed where I am. So I'm proud of the resilience I had. Yeah.
I think also that the experience you have is
Yeah.
also make you different,
Yes.
and how you learn from that experience,
Yes.
and that also other thing. And as a migrant, sometimes like in my experience, I got lots of opportunity being a migrant. I lost lots of opportunity being I'm not the color, or I'm not the native. I lost. I don't mind because I get some, I lost some. In life, you get some, you lost some.
Yeah.
And like, what is your vision to next? That is more important than what you lost. So that things makes me my migrant journey as well. But you came Australia or different country as a spouse. What is your feeling like a spouse, or like I have a spouse as well come here. She got a different perspective than my perspective. So what is as a spouse your perspective as a migrant?
Oh, you're always in the background. It's a challenge because he's got full qualifications that are being accepted in the industry. And you now you're learning to adjust yourself. First, as a wife, you have to settle, oh, where are the hospitals? You have to tackle the major things. Where are the hospitals? Where are the daycare centers for the kids? Where are the schools? So you're always behind making sure that the family is okay. But in the end, you're putting your life on hold because you're prioritizing something. You're trying to build a family because I've always wanted to build a lovely family compared to what I came from. So that also grounded me to say, okay, I have to work hard. And for me, I kind of, I can't say I lost myself, but it took me a while to find myself because I'm in the background. I didn't know what I wanted. Learning from my country, I knew, oh, I can do this, but in a new place, what can I do? What can I do? That was my biggest hindrance. But by trying different things that are flexible, kids at school, I could do cleaning. So I could do a sub, I could sell hair products, I could sell Herbalife. So I could do Tupperware. So I did all those little things just to make me feel a sense of belonging, a sense of achievement, not just be in the background. So it has its own challenges, but I'm glad I went through those challenges because I am what I am now because of what I went through.
So like in the same position, there's lots of men and women as well. So what is your suggestion to them? What they can do, what you can suggest from your own experience, what can go from the background to the foreground or to the focus, what they can do.
Oh, you're gonna fall in love with yourself first. You're gonna find your own values, your own purpose, because find your own passion, things that you're passionate about, because passion fuels endurance. So you'll be able to stay resilient when you find something you like doing. So keep going. Don't just survive, learn to thrive. Be open, be curious. If it's school, going back to school, I had to go back to school at the age of 40. So you can imagine. So it's never too late. You're always discovering yourself at every stage of life you are, but don't settle for less. Settle for more. Have that drive for more. Don't give up. Because that's resilience. You get up. No matter how many times you fall, how many times you get up. That's the whole beauty of life. Start where you are. Today is always the beginning. Never give up. Yeah.
So you're telling about going out of the comfort zone.
Yes.
So if you can't go out of the comfort zone, nothing will happen.
There's no growth.
No growth.
You stay stuck.
Yeah. But and the comfort zone, that will give you challenges.
Yes.
And you learn from the challenges and you accept the challenges. Like in our business life, we sometimes find that difficult customer, but we learn a lot. Difficult customer is a asset.
Yes.
All the challenges is the asset for your life.
Yes.
All the difficult moment, all the trauma is a gold nugget for you. Do you agree with me?
I agree. I had to turn my challenges into passion. I had to turn my challenges. That was fuel for me to say, there's more to life. So what can I do? And yes, it takes time to find yourself, but the more you accept things you can't change and accept things you can change, and you can only change you. You can't change your surrounding or other people, but you can change you. So start with you. When you do that, magic happens. Yeah.
I'm totally with that. Like, you love yourself. Loving yourself is, I feel like it is a selfishness. But when I start to love myself, I get value to other.
Yes.
Because when I know myself, I know my worth, know my value, I can resonate with other people value as well. And that is a life changing moment for everything. But coming to that, like, you come as a migrant background, you establish here, and how you create the community. Like, you have community of most of the migrant, they are stuck with their own community or community outside or different community. What is your community right now, and how you build it?
For me, I learned first through my journey moving from different countries. So I've learned one thing very important is that identity is not fixed. So even your community is not fixed. So if you just stick to your community, there's no growth. You're just still surrounded. There's nothing wrong with that. But for me, I've lived in different countries, learned different way of living, met different type of people, different cultures and different perspective. So I've learned to step into different people's shoes, and my community is everywhere. My community is where I found it's a safe place where you can be yourself, where you're not judged, where you're not somebody where is pushing you to grow. So my community is everywhere. I'm not stuck to one community. Yeah. I'm everywhere. I'm sure you've seen I'm everywhere. So my community is everywhere. And that's the beauty of identity, is it's not fixed. Same as culture, it's not. Location is not fixed. So it's where you find your peace. Yeah.
So how you created that community? What is the challenges, and what is the overcome, and what is the outcome as well?
The challenges is, of course, there's always that fear we have that, am I going to get accepted? Am I going to get my views? Are they going to compromise? And that becomes a challenge because I was shifting as well, trying to be in different communities. I could network there, I can associate with this and go there. And then in doing that by networking, you kind of start finding your tribe. You start to finding people who cheer you up, people who can push you to do that. So those are the group that you try now to stick to. Oh yeah, they can empower me. Oh, they can give me opportunity. So that was my community. I started with networking. Just deliberately, just attending functions, I could go Google on the website and say, oh, what's happening in the community? I would go there, show up. And that's how I've learned even my growth into my change. What was your other question?
That's something like you started from network.
Yes.
I'm a big,
Yes.
when you're talking about the networking, I'm a big fan,
Yes.
big lover, and I believe network is a network, human connection.
It
that
is.
that is one of the big assets for not only business but also professional social life. Your
Yeah.
network is key,
Yes.
and I think network can give you. But so I have got my answer from you as well.
Yeah.
Now come to your business journey.
Yes.
I know you're not only an author. I will come to your book and everything, but you started your journey as a women entrepreneur.
Yes.
And tell me about that. Like you say, you started your journey from little, like a Tupperware selling or some product selling.
Yeah.
Start from the beginning and tell me about now where you are.
The beginning was especially when we moved from, because in Scotland I was working. I was working as a customer assistant. So I was happy, comfortable, finding my grounding. Yeah, I've got an income. I found it very challenging for me to find work. And if it's one thing that it taught me was to adapt, to be flexible, to shift, not just to get stuck, because I started looking for work in customer service and I couldn't find it. So I had to adjust myself. What can I do that I can still keep my sense of worth and when you're doing something you like or you love, it gives you that sense of purpose and identity. And so I started, I approached one lady, I started selling beauty products, Avon. So I would speak to clients, my neighbors know. That's how I started building another community, was now speaking to my neighbors. Oh, I've got these products. Oh, the women. Oh, I'm selling makeups and stuff. So I started connections from there. And then I made flyers. This was so cool. My husband and I helped me to make flyers that I wanted to start ironing for people. So people could bring their ironing clothes. So I would iron for them.
Yeah.
So that was my side hustle as well. And I would make cupcakes, and sell them as well. And what else? Then I started doing laundry for another hotel. That was another business. Then I moved to Darwin. My kids are growing up. They're still at school. My husband is working in the mines, fly in, fly out. So I'm home with the kids. So I had to reinvent myself again. I started Tupperware. I started a cleaning business. So I registered my NBN. Then I started cleaning. So I met another comedian. And some of my clients are still my good friends now. They gave me opportunities, and that's why I was talking about that identity or location is not fixed. You learn. So for me, I was always learning, curious, and I couldn't choose what to do because I knew I would find my grounding somewhere. And that grounding has pushed me to say, oh, if I can do that, I can push another. I can take another step. Then that step has landed me to where I am now. Yeah. And it's all hard work. It's all about not giving up. It's all about having that mindset of, I can do it. Anything is possible. And have a community that supports you, that pushes you. That's the number one key. My family has been my rock. My husband has pushed me to do stuff. So I'm so grateful for that.
As far I remember, I met you with your one of the brand, Life
Yes.
Motiva.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Oh, that was when I was just entering into the self-development business, and it's still coming.
Yeah.
I'm resurrecting it. I need you for branding. So I'm rebranding myself. And that was the brand behind was called Life Motiva. It was about be your own motivation. So it was coming from my heart to say, you have to be your own motivation. If you're going to do something, no one can push you to do, you're going to make that choice yourself and you can do it. And my tagline was bold, fearless, inspired. And I still live to that. It says, you're going to make bold choices in life. You're going to stay inspired. You're going to you need to be empowered by continuous learning. Life is a continuous learning. So you're going to learn, you're going to push yourself for you to stay inspired. So you're going to be your life motivation.
Yeah, I still remember first day we met you. I met you and your husband, and the story behind this brand that inspired me.
Yeah.
And I always like to connect with the people who have that inspiration and have that. And I have a long discussion with your husband as well.
Yeah.
And I feel like that we become a tribe slowly.
I know.
And that thing you say one day you said, Imran, I'm going to publish a book. I remember that phone call. Imran, I'm going to publish a book. I said, great thing. Now, tell me about your book. And I know you win lots and you speak like lots of different places with the book. But tell me the starting of your book, how it come to your head and how you make it alive.
My journey is a collection of my stories throughout my journey, from my childhood throughout to where I am. So, as I mentioned earlier, my childhood started well, but events happened, which was not right and not fair to myself as a young child. But through that journey, I've collected stories from my childhood, the lessons I've learned. And my book is called Confront, Reclaim Your Life. So the power behind is that if you want to go somewhere in life, you want to get somewhere in life, you want to heal, you want to pursue whatever, you have to confront the uncomfortable. And the uncomfortable is what keeps us stuck. Because we're living into that narrative, you know, the narrative that was created by somebody and we've adopted like this is our story, but that's not our story. So my main goal for my book was to inspire others to come out of their comfort zone. I started small. Of course, my cleaning businesses are not in they'll come in the second book. There's a second book, but this book, it was me reclaiming my life and say, my past no longer define me. I have a new story to tell. I have a new empowering story. I have rebuilt myself. I have rediscovered myself. I am in love with who I am. So this is me. So it was just that way of reclaiming my superpower that it belongs to me now. It's no longer in the past. Yes, my book has won awards. I wasn't expecting that because I can tell you that I never thought I was going to be a writer. It was not in my identity because when I was a little girl, I was always told I wasn't smart. I wasn't good enough. I wasn't going to reach far. But that little girl still believed somehow that someday I'm going to make it. And someday is coming. I'm here.
So what makes you to publish? What was the like obstacle like from you? I think that's everything is
Yes.
starting from you. Like I need to overcome. I want to publish this book. I need to publish. I need to tell my story.
Yeah.
I need to know.
Yeah.
People need to know this. So and how the spark start and how it goes to the public. Tell me.
Oh, of course, first I had fears. And so it's like, oh, what will people think? And I remember reading one book says the number one regret of the dying is we have the fear of doing what we want. We always want to do what people want. And that resonated with me. It's like, I've always done what others want. And I said, I'm going to change that. And for me, that was a spark. I wanted to prove to myself to say, you can come from nothing. You can build something out of that. And you're not just coming from nothing, you're coming with experience. You're coming with lived experience. And when you have that lived experience, that's your superpower. And that's the fire you have to hold on to as an immigrant. You can get crushed. You can get broken. But if you keep your head above the water and say, it is possible, if others have made it, I can make it. So you need to have certain people in life that inspire you. So I always looked at Oprah and Viola Davis, all these women. I was like, whoa, one day, maybe I'll meet them one day. But I wanted to tell my story. That's how it started. I wanted to tell my story in a different way that somebody may be inspired to say, I'm not alone to go through this. If she can do it, I can do it. So I just wanted to be a spark into somebody's life.
Okay.
That's so I just wanted to be a spark. And then somebody can take it on and say, like, you've become my spark. And those are the reviews. And I approached one lady, Sarifa, to say, I want to publish my book. Do you have anybody else who can help me? And that was a time when they were just starting their publishing company. And she said, oh, yeah, you've been lucky. We're starting our publishing company. You should come. Oh, darling, you should come. Send me your draft. I want to look at it. So I sent her a draft and she said, oh my God, this is a good book, darling. You should bring it. I was like, oh yeah, because I looked up to her because she's been my inspiration as well. Reading her book really sparks like, oh, I can do it as well. So I had a book, so I had to put everything together. Sarifa, here's my draft. She looked at it. Oh, here it is. I'm like, oh, there is a contract. I told my husband, like, I'm bringing the book back to life. So, and before that, because I was journaling, putting everything together, I had a journal, so I had to compile them into a book. So that was the journey of Confront. It needed to have a different title. Yeah. I wanted to give it a different title, but the way I was writing and going through, something sparked in my head and say, confront, reclaim your life. So, and confront is an acronym. Each letter means something. Yeah.
That's a great story. I still remember, like, I published 3 books.
Yeah.
The first book, when I published, someone come and say, I want to buy this book. Okay, this book cost this much. And then said, can you give me an autograph, please? And I was feeling nervous. My life, I take autograph of other author, and then I feel like, oh, I am now the author. So I was a bit nervous, and I'm writing. So what I'm writing? So it was my feelings. But when you have a book come to your hand, or when you autograph, how was everything?
You should have seen me. I was like a little girl. You know that little girl, that childhood we were talking about? I was just dancing, jumping up and down. I was like, whoa, I'm really holding a book. Because growing up, just looking at authors and writers, I was like, I don't think I can do it. English is my second language. Yeah. I don't think I can do it. It's too much. But with technology and Google and everything, you start learning, you start Googling how to write a book. So I started from there. And holding my book, it was like magic. My heart was like, it's up to the world now, you know? It's up to the world. And it's been an amazing journey. And that book has changed my life. Yeah, has changed my life. Yeah.
So how people buy this magic, or how people get this magic? Please give who are listening, if you want this magic book called Confront, where they can buy it and how they can find it, or tell me, like, if they want to sign autograph as well from you, how they can get it.
If they want a signed autograph from me, they can reach up to me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter. No. TikTok, yes. I am on TikTok now. And they can buy the book. It's available worldwide. It's on Amazon, Booktopia now. So once you just Google my name, Kabinga Mazaba, the book is going to come up. Or if you Google Confront, Reclaim Your Life, it's going to come up. Yeah.
And one other thing, when I am a personal branding expert, I also like focus on people to publish something, leave the legacy.
Yeah.
And also this book is a book, but it gives you lots of opportunity. It gives you opportunity to speak. if we give you opportunity to someone who read to speak about sharing some ideas, and they also sometimes people read your book and then they come with like, oh, I like this, or I have the similar idea. So lots of connection, lots of value. So tell me about this book. What you find before publishing a book and after publishing a book?
Before publishing a book, I thought like I was just admiring people at a distance.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to be an author. I want to speak on stage, but I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to express myself. But the book gave me that opportunity. The moment I was given the opportunity to say, you're launching it on stage, that was my first stage. Just to review the cover of the book, I was like, oh, this is your book cover. I was like, whoa, that's me. And those are those magic moments when you're in that flow zone, like you're in a different dimension. You just feel like, whoa, I was meant for this stage. And my manifestation of me wanting to speak came true without even realizing that it was going to come through a book. So I've made a lot of connections through the book. I've spoken in Dubai, you know, now people are hiring me to speak. So that is an experience. That is a migrant story experience of not giving up and for pushing yourself, because good things do happen if you stand up. Yeah.
I feel also lucky. I have privilege to take your photos for this book
Yes.
cover. So that give me like I'm with you. Always I will be with you. That's my feelings. But I would like to say, what is your suggestion to all the migrant women? They come to this country. They want to like publish a book. They want to speak in front of thousands of people, sharing their life journey. What is your suggestion to them or advice? What advice you can give?
Do not just survive, you have to thrive. Learn to be flexible, because I've learned that life is never linear. It moves in waves. It can change at any time. So when you're flexible, you learn to dance in the waves as well. And that's resilience. You know, you move up and down. So do not give up. Find a community that will uplift you, will inspire you, will push you, will accept you for who you are. And don't settle to just one community. We are a diverse country, so learn other communities and be curious to learn. Be open minded to change, because you don't stay in your comfort zone and think things are going to happen. You're going to move out. The famous saying says the good stuff are on the other side of fear. So I say, what's on the other side of fear is the pantry of possibilities, where you can pass through that and pick up whatever you want on the shelf. Whether you want speaking, it's already there waiting for you, but you're going to take that step. You don't need to figure it out. I did not figure it all out. You have to learn. Even if the journey feels uncertain, it will show itself by just you taking a step and just be curious to learn. Yeah.
That will be a great suggestion. It's not only for women but also for everyone. I
Yes.
think that is something, and also like connecting with yourself, your own
Yes.
self. Love your own self.
Yes.
That is something like very much like in the beginning we don't know, but will come as a life experience. And
Yes.
connecting your own self is something. And look after, love yourself.
Yes.
That is something definitely. But you already mentioned you are publishing your second book. But where we want to see Kabinga after 10 years?
Ooh, Kabinga after 10 years. Wow. She'll be hosting her own big events
Yeah.
where she's assisting a lot of migrants women who are trying to find their voice. That's my biggest passion, is to have that stage where migrants, immigrants can come and say, this is a safe space. I'm creating that. And I'll be, in 10 years' time, I should be New York Times bestseller.
That's great. That's
Yes.
good. And and also your family, your what is your future 10-year future looks like?
Ooh. One, my kids are out of my house. That would be a big one. Me and my husband going on cruises, just relaxing and building another community back home where we want to give back. That's our biggest thing. We want to give back to schools. We want to build our own university. We want to build our own hospital. So those are in the pipeline. So my husband and I are going to be busy. So we're giving back. Yeah.
Obligation is one of the thing that makes you fulfill your life. And I know you, I know your husband, child, and you guys are very big on that. And thank you so much for coming to today's and sharing and this confront stories. I think people get lots of value from there. But if anyone want to connect with you, how they can connect to you?
Well, they can find me on Facebook. It's easy. Just go Kabinga Mazaba. Everywhere, whether you want to connect with me on LinkedIn or you want to send me a message and you want to catch up and hear more of my stories, or if you want to get a book or just hear more stories, I'm open to that. So you can connect me. They'll find me everywhere. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time today and sharing all this story.
Yeah.
I think, dear listener, you will learn lots from Kabinga. And next episode, there will be another migrant, successful migrant. They will share their story, their struggles, how in a new country, how they survive, how they're thriving. So stay tuned. Thank you.